Recordings available after?
I actually have students I send them to, been with me since COVID. So it's like something I do. I personally upload them to my YouTube channel,
Okay,
but
not from WhatsApp.
correct.
Not that.
But it is something that like could be an option down the road. I just don't know what the demand is for it.
Yeah.
At the studio.
We need to get more people here so that.
In person, yeah.
So that.
Hey, Erin.
Debbie, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good. I'm gonna mute you and then we're gonna get started because I think everybody's here, even though it's a couple minutes early.
Everybody has blocks, yes. Okay, so good morning, good early afternoon. I'm Erin, this is a gentle yoga class. And so, what do you guys think about astrology? Are you into it or you think it's nuts? Or somewhere between.
Somewhere between, yeah, because I believe in heavens and the stars and alignment and forces, but. You know, I don't.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, to me, it's something fun, just to
Yeah.
like read and then, well, you know, maybe not, like it could apply or it could not apply.
Yeah. So there's been some, so I'm an astrologer and there's some wild astrology that's been happening this week. Like if you look at the astrology of the year this past week in July, it's kind of like, it's a kind of a rough month.
Yeah.
From the middle of July through the end of the month.
The media show.
There's a lot. And it's when there's a lot going on, you know, it's going to be a different kind of energy than if there's just one particular kind of challenging energy. If you take like 5 of those and layer them on top of each other, right, it kind of changes the game. So there was this transit coming up between, in astrology, they're considered malefic planets and benefic planets, kind of planets that bring more blessings and opportunity and gifts, and planets that have the ability to say no and stop things, constrict and sever. And so there's 2 malefic planets and they're in opposition to each other right now. And this came, which is, you know, this push and pull energy. And this came exact on Thursday. And I knew that this was happening. And a half hour before it actually happened, it like manifested in a very physical way in my home, when all of a sudden my ceiling started leaking. And Saturn is the planet of pressure, and it's in the sign of Pisces, which rules water and plumbing. And Mars is the planet that can cause accidents and sever things and breaks. And that's an opposition of Virgo. Hi, Kim. Come on in. We're just getting started. I'm just telling a story about the astrology of the week and how it manifested in my house.
Oh,
So basically starts leaking. And I'm like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? And luckily, our house is under major construction. And so my contractor and plumber kind of like, they're all time. Yeah, it's the 15, they're there.
There you go.
But they're very lucky because like I know Bob just had this issue with his house with water damage and can't get anybody out for like 3 weeks. So you can come look at it, you know. So very lucky in that regard. But now there's this huge hole in my ceiling where I had to cut out all the drywall to replace this old pipe. And we're like,
Oh my goodness.
And so, like, what do we do in those situations where it's instant stress? You know, where you're going from like I had my kids downstairs, they were playing, I'm like, cool, I'm gonna walk and go get my watering can, I'm gonna water my plants, I'm gonna go chill before we have dinner, and then all of a sudden, like, where's this water coming from? Right, in like an instant.
At least you were home, yes.
So many silver linings for sure. And so it's like, this is stress, right? This is life. How all of a sudden we're going along about our business and something throws us this loop, this curveball. And how do we react and respond to it? And how do we manage and deal with that stress? And in a situation like I was in, where I was lucky enough to have someone come help me right away, it still like throws off the game, throws off the rest of the night. I still feel it in my body, right? As I'm like getting tense and like running around trying to catch the water. So let's take a nice comfortable seat and close our eyes. And the longer I'm alive and the more I experience life as a human being, the more I recognize that we are creatures of our nervous system. So in situations that prove to be stressful, our nervous system gets triggered and activated, and we either fight, flee, or freeze. And physiologically, what happens to our bodies and how do we process this energy, this rush of chemicals and hormones in the body. And when we come and sit here together on our yoga mats, it gives us an opportunity to practice regulating our nervous system in a controlled environment so that when we are in an uncontrolled environment, and when we are dealing with triggers of stress and forces beyond our control, we can come back to these tools that we've cultivated and this practice and try our best to utilize them. So sitting up nice and tall with your eyes closed, take a moment and first check in with your physical body. And notice the parts of your body that might feel tense, tight, sensitive. Notice if there's any pain. And see if you can witness your physical self in such a way that you don't paint a story about what's happening, but instead you're simply kind of taking an inventory. Like, oh, okay, pinching in my low back. Something feels a little twisted or lopsided. My pelvis is a little out of whack. I slept weird, my neck is a little crinkled. And whatever it may be that's happening, can you just notice, like, here's what it is today. Can we just take in what's happening? Can we take in what's happening without spiraling about it? Without, oh, I can't believe my back is like this again. Then as you breathe in, could you sit up a little taller, lengthen your spine, take your shoulders up, back, and down. Bring the center of your head right over your tailbone, and pause. Bring your awareness to your breath. Notice if your breath is staying up a little higher in your body. You tend to breathe more into your chest. That's the way most of us breathe. And this type of shallow breath signals to our brain that we're in a stress responsive state and that we need to be on high alert. So by breathing more deeply and drawing breath down, below the diaphragm and the low belly. We can signal to our body that we're safe, that whatever threat or problem might be looming, that it's not an immediate danger. And when we breathe in this way, the nervous system can start to de-escalate, to regulate. We can come into more of a place of calm and stillness. And when we're able and available to drop into this part of ourselves, to take our awareness back and down, and to connect with that peaceful place of reprieve within us. It's from there we can sit in the eye of the storm, in this central place of calm, and simply notice the chaos around us. And take one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Breathe into the space beneath your hands. Feel the rise and the fall of your inhalation and your exhalation. And notice if there's been a shift even from when you first walked into the studio. Notice if by taking a moment to practice this calm and stillness, if it shifts something within you. And draw your hands together in front of your heart. I invite you to set an intention for your practice today. Maybe it's simply to take some time to sit in the seat of the witness in your daily life, to step back and to simply notice what's happening and notice how you're responding, and then do the very challenging work of, in that moment, trying to find your way back to your own center. And whatever your personal intention, hold it here close to your heart, and we'll begin our class with 3 cleansing breaths and seal in our intentions. Take a deep breath in. Let it go with a sigh. 2 more like that. Gently bow your head to your heart. Fully open your eyes. Release your hands. All right, you can come and bring your hands to your side. So if you're sitting high up on props, you might want to move them so that your fingertips can reach, and you can do this in a way that allows you to draw your shoulder blades onto your back. Sit up nice and tall, and if you need to change the cross of your legs, you can do so. And then as you inhale, take your right arm up in line with your ear. Exhale, reach on over to the left, little side stretch. See if you could keep your weight even through both sitting bones. Couple of breaths like this. That's what you did. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, release. Second side. Inhale, left arm comes up. Exhale, reach out over to the right. Root down through both sitting bones. Lengthen through the side body. You can take your gaze down towards the ground, straight out in front of you, or up under your arm, depending on what feels best on your neck. Inhale back to center, exhale, release. Inhale, sweep both arms up, palms up, look up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, hands to your heart. One more like that. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, bring it right back down to center. From here, we'll move through a couple of rounds of breath of joy. Some of you have done this with me before. If not, I can walk you through it. So as you inhale, you'll interlace your fingers, lift just the tips of your elbows. As you exhale, press your palms away and round your back. Inhale, stretch your arms up, look up. Exhale, float the arms down, interlace your hands behind your back. Inhale, stretch your arms away, lift your heart. Exhale, hands to heart center. So 2 more rounds. Inhale, interlace fingers, lift the elbow tips. Exhale, press the palms away, round the back. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up, look up. Exhale, float the arms down, interlace your hands behind your back. Inhale, stretch the arms away, lift your chest. Exhale, hands to your heart. 1 more. Inhale, elbows lift. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, arms down, back behind you. Inhale, heart lifts. Open up the shoulders. Exhale, hands to your heart. Let's take a little twist here. So inhale, sweep your arms up. And as you exhale, you'll twist to the right. You'll bring your right hand behind you, left hand to your right knee. Take your gaze up over your right shoulder. Then inhale, float the arms up. And exhale, twist to the left. Left hand behind you, right hand to your left knee. And then let's just move through a little twisting flow of our breath. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist. Move with your own breath. Inhale, back to center. Exhale to twist. 1 more each side. And exhale, hands to heart center. Good. So that's like a great little flow you can do every day. Basically, one of the things that we want to do to keep the body healthy is to move the spine in all 6 directions each day. So the 6 directions are like cat-cow, right? Back bend, rounding the spine, lateral side stretch. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's come to hands and knees. And that's really the premise of yoga, right? Life and health of the spine, life and health of legs. So you can have your knees, if they're sensitive, use a blanket. Set yourself up for cat-cow here, wrists under your shoulders, index fingers point straight ahead. Tuck your toes, move with your breath. So what's wild about astrology and about these malefic planets is that Saturn is a planet that collectively rules our fears. And in March, it moved into the sign of Pisces, where it'll stay for 2.5 years. Pisces is a water sign. And so you'll see, even within yourself and collectively, how about it?
I know.
Fear of water, right? We'll look at the Titan. The Titan is Saturn and Pisces. Constriction to the point of implosion deep within the ocean, and everybody being obsessed with it. And so for 2.5 years before, Saturn was in an air sign. COVID, fear of the air and what we're breathing. So it's just interesting. Just notice, where water shows up in your life in a way where maybe you don't want it. Just a few more breaths here. Inhale, come back to a neutral spine. And here we're going to take a Vashisthasana variation. So for this, you'll pivot your right foot off of your mat, bring all of the weight into your right hand. Send your left leg back, reach your left arm up. Yeah, beautiful. Press the pinky toe edge of your left foot into the ground, lengthen up through the left side body, stretch. You can even take that left arm out in line with your ear if it feels good to reach all the way up the left side. So you could stay right here, or you could pick your left foot up, flex your foot, and maybe you bend your knee and reach back for your foot or your ankle. Go ahead and release. And then we'll move to the second side. So you'll pivot your left foot over to the left, extend your right leg straight back. Bring your left hand to the earth, inhale, reach your right arm up. Press the pinky toe edge of your right foot into the ground. Lengthen all the way up the right side body. Roll your shoulders back, lean back. Maybe you take the right arm out in line with your ear and reach out for your fingertips. And you could decide this is enough, or you could pick up your right foot, flex your foot, bend your right knee, reach back for your foot or your ankle. Little thigh stretch here. Go ahead and release. Slowly work your way into downward facing dog. Send your hips up and back. And then everyone bend your knees. Reach your sitting bones high to the sky. Press your chest back. Find more length in the spine. Keep the natural curve in the lumbar here, in your low back. And then slowly begin to straighten out the legs. And if your hamstrings are super tight like mine are, and when you straighten the legs, you round through the low back, maybe you keep the knees slightly bent. Inhale, walk your feet forward to meet your hands. Exhale as you fold. You can have blocks up at the top of your mat here. Inhale, lengthen to a flat back. Exhale as you bow in. Two more like that. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Press down into your feet. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Good, so coming into mountain pose, into Tadasana. First thing you'll do is notice how wide your feet are. You want your feet to be either sitting bone distance apart, hip distance apart. So the closer your feet are together, the trickier balance will be. This will give you a little more stability. You want your feet to be parallel. So the tendency is for the heels to turn in slightly. You'll want to widen your heels maybe just a little bit. And feel the difference. Let's all do that. So bring your feet more to like a V, right? This is position ballet. I know that. And then feel how that feels in your hips, your glutes, your low back, right? Probably feels a little more constrictive. Then take your heels wider so your feet are parallel. Do you feel the freedom that just gave you in your low back and in your pelvis, or internal rotation of the thighs? You want to keep that.
Then lift all 10 of your toes and feel your big toe mound, your pinky toe mound on the ground. And imagine that there's like a camping stake that goes through the center of your heel into the earth. Good. Keep that, bring your toes down. Hug your legs in towards each other and lift your kneecaps. So we were talking about hamstrings. I have really super tight hamstrings. My daughter has it too. I like see in her body the stuff that's in my body, which is wild. And so in order to safely stretch the hamstrings and the thighs are antagonistic muscles, which means that they work together as a group. In order to stretch the hamstrings, you have to activate your thighs, your quads. So lift the kneecaps, make sure the quads stay engaged. Keep that, press down through your feet. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bow forward and fold and pause once you get halfway. Good. Bring your hands to your hips. Keep your shoulder blades on your back. Notice what happens with your legs. Did your quads lose it? Can you engage them more? Squeeze, hug the muscles to the bone. Keep that as you continue to fold forward. Slow forward bend. And then you could bring your hands down to your blocks or to the ground, depending on your body. Most of us probably want the blocks. If you're using the blocks, bring them right under your shoulders. Then from here, we'll do that same little flow. Keep the quads engaged. Keep drawing the kneecaps up. It's really hard to find here. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, bow in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Good. Step back, downward dog. Let's move through a vinyasa here. Inhale, come forward to a high plank. Knees can come down. It's up to you, really, which kind of vinyasa you want to take. Your knees come down, you'll take your shoulder blades onto your back and keep your hips pressing forward so you don't lose the plank. Exhale, bend your elbows straight back, lower all the way down to the front. Once you're down, wherever you are, bend your knees with your feet up in the sky. Notice the fronts of your hips, your hip flexors. So mine aren't even touching the ground right now. They're so short. So lift your right knee up, lengthen it to the back of your mat, bring that thigh down. Notice the difference in length in the front of your right hip. Do the same thing on the left side. Lift your left knee, lengthen your thigh bone back, bring it down. Good, now extend the legs, press the tops of the feet down. Heads of the arm bones come up, take them back, and down, chest lifts. Inhale your heart forward and up into cobra. And when you're ready, exhale, down dog. Right leg lifts as you inhale. Lunge it forward as you exhale. Step it all the way up in between your hands. So you're coming into a high lunge here. Right knee over the ankle. You're up on the ball of your left foot. Press your left thigh up to the sky. So engage your left thigh muscle. The kneecap lifts. The quad engages. You hug the muscles of the leg to the bone. Draw the legs in towards each other. Come up onto your blocks. Shoulders on your back. Lengthen your spine. And here we'll move through this little bend and straighten flow. As you inhale, straighten your front leg. Kneecap lifts. Quad is working. Exhale, bend the knee. Move with your breath. Bend and straighten. And the next time you bend your knee, pause here. Bring your left hand down to the mat.
Inhale, sweep your right arm up as you twist. Keep pressing your left thigh up to the sky. Hug the hips in towards each other. Breathe. Exhale, release. Downward facing dog. Options to stay here in down dog, come into child's pose, or move through a vinyasa, your choice. From downward facing dog, left leg lifts as you inhale, lunge it forward as you exhale. Same thing here, you take your time, getting yourself set up, left knee over the left ankle, press your right thigh up to the sky, hug your legs in towards each other. Bring your hands up onto blocks, straightening your front foot. When you're ready, you'll start a flow. Inhale, straighten your leg, lift your kneecap, exhale, bend your knee. Keep pressing the big toe mounds, the pinky toe mound in the center of the heel down. The next time you bend your knee, pause here, bring your right hand down, inhale, sweep your left up. Exhale, release. Downward facing dog, same options. Down dog, child's, vinyasa. From downward facing dog, inhale, your feet forward to meet your hands. Exhale as you fold, bow over your legs. Root down into your feet, inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to your heart. Check in with your legs again. See the four corners of your knees. Two on the top, two on the bottom. And generally, like my right knee, the kneecap rolls in, right? So you want to look at the four corners of your knees and see that they're pointing straight ahead. So I constantly have to correct this leg. I think it's like my shin bone is a little bent, but whatever it is, we have to learn our bodies to see like what do we need to adjust to find the right alignment. So you have all four corners of the knees pointing straight ahead. You lift the kneecaps, engage your quads, press down through your feet. Inhale, scoop the arms up. Exhale, bow forward and fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, step your left foot back. Come into a high lunge, and then pivot your back heel down to front. Inhale, cartwheel your arms up, warrior two. So from here, you'll have heel to arch alignment, front heel dissects the center of the back arch. Bend your right knee. Bring your right middle finger to the center of your head. Take the center of your head, line it up with your tailbone. Good. Send both arms back out. And we'll move into a little flow here, where you inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, bend your knee. Straighten and bend. Next time you straighten your leg, pause, take a look at your front knee. See that all four corners are pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Take a breath in as you exhale, reach your fingertips past your toes and come into Trikonasana. Here.
Yeah. There you go. Need a little propage.
Oh, I love croppage.
Just need a little help. Might do.
Yes, we all need a little help, friends. So check in with that front right thigh. What's happening? What's happening with the thigh? That's gotta engage to stretch out this right hamstring. Little bend into the right knee. Inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, hands to your hips. We're just gonna switch sides here. So you'll turn your right toes in, your left toes out. Come into warrior two on the second side. Wrists are in line with your shoulders, center of the head right over your tailbone. Take your gaze out over your left middle finger. And when you're ready, you'll bend and straighten. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Exhale, bend your knee. And the next time you straighten your left leg, keep it there. Take a look at your kneecap. Make sure it's pointing up towards the ceiling. Kneecap lifts, your quad engages. Keep that. Reach your left fingertips past your toes. Trikonasana, triangle pose, second side. Now think about that point in the center of your head that we talked about in warrior two, and see if you could line that up with the base of your spine here. That may mean that you have to lengthen and extend the left side body and drop your right rib cage down. And if none of that makes sense, then you just leave it. A little bend into your left knee. Inhale, come all the way back up to center. Hands to your hips. Turn your toes in. Step or jump. Back to Tadasana. Right, come to the top of your mat. Mountain pose. And close your eyes. So keep your gaze really soft. Closing your eyes throws your balance off. And just take a moment to notice and check in. You feel the beating of your own heart. Maybe you feel some heat in your body, some sweat. Check in again with those parts of yourself that maybe had a story they wanted to tell at the beginning of class. See what they're chatting about now. Okay. And then bring the awareness to your breath. So you can smooth out your breath. And you find your way back to that calm, cool, peaceful place. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Big stretch up. Exhale, bow forward and fold. Let it be an offering. Inhale, lengthen halfway to a flat back. Exhale, step back, stand up. Good option here to move through a final vinyasa. We're all going to meet in child's pose.
Now take your knees wide, big toes together, and your forehead to the ground or to your block.
So you guys know down by the river, between the canal and the river in Lambertville. There's areas where there's little paths that go down that you could follow with your dog or yourself. So these paths, somebody cut them through the woods. And over time, the more that we walk them, the more defined they become until they're a trail. And this is a metaphor for yoga. And that the more we come to our mat, the more we practice kind of cutting this path back to a place of a regulated nervous system, which, you know, we can call a place of peace, of calm, of stillness, of quiet, whatever it might be that resonates with us. Really what it is these tools to reset our nervous system back into a parasympathetic rest and digest. And the more that we practice and the more that we use the tools, the more we clear out this trail in the forest until it's easier to find our way onto it and to navigate and to get to the place where we come through the clearing and all of a sudden we see the vast beauty of the river. Inhale, walk your hands up. And we're going to come to sit. So the trick with these seated forward folds in yoga is to maintain the integrity of the spine. And what happens with most of us when we sit on our pelvis like this, the pelvis rounds back into this posterior tilt and the low back rounds. So you can see that on me right now. The low back is rounding because my hamstrings are tight and my pelvis is tucking under. And so until I can learn to tilt my pelvis upright and keep that low curve, the curve in the low back rather, you're going to want to sit up on a blanket. So when you sit up on a blanket, you lift your sitting bones and help the pelvis tilt forward. You can maintain the integrity of the spine, right, in the posture. Good. Keep your right leg extended, bring your left foot to the inner of your thigh. Same thing here with the kneecap. See that the four corners of the knee point straight up to the sky. Flex your right foot. Imagine that the big toe mounds, the pinky toe mound, the center of the heel are on the earth. So they're pressing evenly into, something, right? You could even bring a block here first and see what's happening. So if I were standing up, I'd be completely on the right side of my foot. So you want to try to get all of those points of the foot onto the block. Just a little, what does it feel like situation. Now bring your hands to frame your right foot. Little twist in the torso. The right ribs pull back, the left ribs move forward. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale as you fold. Your hands don't have to come to your foot. You could use a strap. You could hold onto your shin. You could keep your fingers on the mat. With every inhale, there's a lengthening of the spine, and with every exhale, you fold in. Notice what's happening in the leg. Even here, kneecap lifts, right? Quadricep engages. That way, the hamstring can safely stretch. Right. Take a moment here and relax your tongue and your mouth. Relax your jaw. Widen the corners of your eyes. Smooth out your forehead. Notice the parts of your body that are always gripping and tensing and trying to exert control over something. And see if you could encourage those parts to just calm down. Inhale to rise. Take your left knee, bring it up, place the left foot on the ground, and then you'll cross your left foot over your right thigh. Bring your left hand behind your low back. Closer to your low back, the better. You can then use this as a kickstand to lengthen the spine. Inhale your right arm up, exhale as you twist. Inhale, unwind, counter twist in the other direction. Just a little twist the other way. Inhale back to center and go ahead and switch sides. Send the left leg out. Bring the sole of the right foot to the inner left thigh. And then you just check in. What's happening on this side? And I keep the pelvis tilting forward. Anterior tilt of the pelvis. You think about moving towards the fronts of the sitting bones. All four corners of the knee up. What's happening with the foot? You level that out. And then once you have yourself situated, then you'll bring your hands to frame your left foot. Little twist here, the navel moves in line with the left leg. Left ribs pull back, right ribs wrap forward. Lengthen as you breathe in, and as you exhale, bow forward and fold. Notice if your leg, I don't know when stopped working. It's like I'm just gonna hang out and see if you could engage. Right? Lift the kneecap. Keep your quad working. You could think about pressing and grounding the parts of your leg that are touching the earth into the support of the ground beneath you. With every inhale, there's a lengthening. Maybe you're not folding in as deeply. With every exhale, bow in. So even in a pose that we might consider static or stationary, where we're not moving or holding the position, there's still movement, there's still pulsation and flow. There's still this energetic expansion and contraction, the spanda. Inhale to rise. Right knee comes up. Bring the sole of your foot to the earth and then cross it over your left leg. Bring your right hand behind you. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale, left arm in line with your ear. Exhale to twist. Inhale to unwind. Exhale, little counter twist in the direction. Now back to center. And then you're gonna take your legs wide. You could use blocks here under your forearms. This could be your forward fold. You could stay up on your fingertips and just keep working that pelvis towards the anterior tilt. This is where it's going to get even more challenging. Check out your kneecaps straight up to the sky. Lift them. Engage your quads. Engage your quads. Check out your feet. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge from your hips. To bow forward and fold. Once you find your edge, you'll pause there. You'll hang out. See if you could keep your spine long. Your shoulder blades onto the back of the heart. The sternum lifted. The collarbones wide. And then notice what's happening in your face, inside of your mouth. Bring your awareness to the parts of your body that are on the earth. Press them down. Use that connection and support of the ground beneath you as an anchor. As you breathe in, you find more length and space in your body. And as you breathe out, there's a little surrender and letting go. So one of the many things I appreciate about my contractors in this process of so much construction at my home is their attitude about like, it can all be fixed. You know, I have this doomsday outlook where something goes wrong at my house, instant panic. Like, the ceiling is leaking in water, you know, and it's like, it can be fixed. It's expensive. But it can be fixed. And that's life, right? Like these things happen. You have trauma, you have tragedy, you have stress. This is part of being a spiritual being in a human experience. It can be fixed. And even the things that can't, we continue on. We can make it through. Inhale, come on up. Hold your hands to the backs of the thighs. Oh, draw your hips in. Okay, so we're going to set up for our restorative Shavasana today. And so if you do not have a bolster, because I did not tell you to get one, you'll come up and grab one. If you're at home and you don't have a bolster, you could use some pillows, you could use your couch. So this is called Stonehenge. It's a variation on legs up the wall, but one that's typically, I think, a little more comfortable. So you'll take your blocks up high on your mat, so little pillars. And then you'll build your Stonehenge with your bolster on top. You can have a blanket for underneath your head. And before you come down onto the configuration, I'll ask if you don't want to receive Reiki, you can just raise your hand when you come down. I'll ask you again, but I will offer Reiki in this pose, is I guess what I'm trying to say. So you'll come to sit and then bring your legs up onto the Stonehenge in such a way so that the backs of your knees are closer to the bolster. So you don't want to be like this. You want to scooch it in. And then you'll come to gracefully as possible, recline. If for any reason this does not work for your body, you can do whatever variation of Shavasana does. But hopefully this feels restorative and nice. And then at this time, you may have to rebuild. It can all be fixed. If you do not want to receive Reiki, you can raise your hand now, and it's no worries at all. Otherwise, you feel my hands on your head. Once you're situated here, take a deep breath in. Take a complete breath out. And allow yourself permission to let go. To let go of anything that happened before this moment. To release your expectation of anything that's to come. Let the weight of your body drop down to the earth. Move your lower jaw away from your upper jaw. Let your tongue get heavy and wide on the floor of your mouth. Broaden the corners of your eyes. Let your eyeballs descend into their sockets. Yourself settle and surrender to this place of peace and stillness. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Draw awareness back into your body as you wiggle your fingers, toes. And slowly drawing your knees into your chest. Make your way to your side, where you give yourself a moment to pause, to be still. And in your own time, when you're ready, you can transition back up to find a comfortable seat. And once you arrive, close your eyes. Bring your hands to heart center. Call back your intention that you set at the beginning of class. You can feel free to modify or change it in any way so that you can take it with you off of your mat and back out into your life. And take a moment to honor yourself for this work that we do when we practice yoga. It's unification of our body, breath, mind, and spirit. And also this path clearing, this practice of self-regulation, working with our stress, working with our emotions, working with our difficulties in life, so that we can come home to ourselves. It's not always an easy practice, but it is a practice. So honor yourself for this work. And we'll end our class and sealing our intentions with a final cleansing breath. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Gently bow your head to your heart. The light within me recognizes and honors this very same light in each one of you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you all so much for your practice and for being here today on this beautiful Saturday. Have a wonderful day and rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Erin. Have a good week
Thanks so much, Debbie. Have a great weekend.
as well. Take care.
Bye.
Good luck with your ceiling.
Oh, thanks. It's just industrial design now.
Oh no. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.